These vaccines are safe and effective and will be the game changer.
Nigeria takes delivery of first tranche of Johnson & Johnson vaccines. Plans rollout of second phase of vaccination for Monday, August 16.
We need to save those lives.
NCDC issues advisory on cholera outbreak, calls on households to ensure proper hygiene.
Get the support of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to see how we can supply potable and hygienically treated water to the people.
Gombe Metropolis, 15 other communities to benefit from joint state-federal water supply expansion scheme.
The college also upgraded equipment at its medical center to cope with growing demands.
Plus, National Assembly approves additional fund for Nigeria's military campaign. Welcome to NTA Network News. We're live in Abuja. I'm Ian Ray John, and Michael Olalaye joins us from Lagos. Thank you. Nigeria will roll out the second phase of vaccination against COVID-19 on Monday, 16th August, with Minister of Health FAWEHINMI expressing optimism that it would stem the spread of the Delta variant in Nigeria. State House correspondent Jidonu Fada reports that the optimism is further boosted with the arrival of over 100,000 of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines in Nigeria.
Minister of Health FAWEHINMI leading the Directors General of agencies under the ministry to the weekly executive press briefing at the State House, organized by the presidential media team. They all take turn to brief the press on the role of their agencies in response to the coronavirus pandemic in the country and the outbreak of the Delta variant, which cases of infection are on the increase day after day. They also speak on the second phase of the vaccination scheduled to begin next week.
We have to use stringent review of the approved vaccines. Once we approve them, that doesn't mean we're going to just take them when they come. They come with information. We take samples at the airport, cold room, and we analyze in our lab, because we want to be sure that what we read in the dossier actually matches what we are testing.
Also expecting the AstraZeneca vaccine. Our plan is that for those who have gotten the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine during the first phase, there will be doses available to take their second shots in the next few weeks. Please make sure that you take the AstraZeneca vaccine if that is what you took for the first dose. If you took first dose as AstraZeneca, please take the second dose as AstraZeneca. And if you're going to take Moderna as your first dose, also take it as your second dose. Do not be concerned that you may not get the second dose of the AstraZeneca. Please do not mix and match the vaccines.
In the past few weeks, the number of infections have been on the increase on a daily basis.
In terms of individuals, it's not news to any of us that many of us have dropped those critical measures that we need to carry out. We see events happening all over the country. We see very few people wearing masks. The consequences will be obvious, unfortunately, unless we go back to some of these restrictions.
So it's a moral question. I'm telling the young people that this is not the time. When everybody else is rising to defend their country, you say you are going on strike. Whatever it is, the reason, some of them just, some of them don't look so just, some of them easily can be solved, others are not easily solved. It's not the time to say we are going on strike. We are with you. We are also your professional colleagues. We've been through residency. We know where you stand. It's a national call for us to come up in arms. Let us work together, solve this problem, save lives.
80% of the infections are of the Delta variant, and the ministry says Nigerians must observe the regulations as signed by President Muhammadu Buhari, a measure against the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
Meanwhile, the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, has confirmed that the newly arrived Johnson & Johnson vaccine is a direct purchase by the federal government through the African Union Programme. Oluseyi Adiagbo has details.
Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, is grappling with the third wave of COVID-19. This is evident in the high number of cases it has been recording at this time. Not quite 2 weeks after the country took delivery of 4,080,000 doses of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine from the United States government, it is once again taking delivery of the first batch of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine out of the expected 29,850,000 doses. This is to allow the country ramp up its vaccination program as efforts to mitigate the third wave of the pandemic intensify. In view of the Johnson & Johnson being a single-dose vaccine, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency boss, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, says getting the vaccine to the people at the rural communities is central in its administration plans.
This is because these are the people who may find it difficult to leave their homes to the health facility for the second dose after taking a first one.
The target is to deliver almost 50 million vaccine before the end of December 2021.
Partners in the management of COVID-19 in Nigeria say since equitable access to safe and effective vaccines is critical to ending the coronavirus pandemic, people must avail themselves of the provision to get vaccinated.
These vaccines are safe and effective and will be the game changer.
Religious leader, a traditional leader or a governor is to encourage all your people to take the vaccines as quickly and as timely as is possible.
Nigeria awaits the arrival of more doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, Moderna, as well as the Johnson & Johnson as time goes on. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Still on health matters, we can now confirm that a total of 31,815 deaths from cholera have so far been recorded across the country. Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, Chikwe Ihekwazu, is drawing attention to the rising deaths and is advising Nigerians to take precautions that will reduce exposure to the risk factors, especially with COVID-19 still lurking in the shadows. The epidemiologist spoke at the weekly executive briefing of the press at the presidential villa in Abuja, organized by the presidential media team headed by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina. He says 22 states are currently experiencing cholera outbreaks, and there is the urgent need for individuals and households to ensure cleanliness and sanitation.
For increased investments in wash infrastructure. What do I mean by wash infrastructure? Both among the rich and the poor, we are in trouble. We used to have water reticulation systems in our cities. Now, every middle-class household in Nigeria relies on a borehole. Boreholes have intrinsic challenges. The poor rely on water fetched from downstream when someone is defecating upstream into the same stream. So we need to educate our people. We need to encourage our state governments to invest in water distribution and really raise this with your support up the agenda in the press, in the media, among our politicians as we go into the next election cycle in Nigeria. So really, cholera is a massive problem. We have outbreaks in 22 of the 36+1 states in Nigeria have ongoing outbreaks right now. And we need to save those lives as much as we need to save the lives of people with COVID.
Dr. Ihekwazu advised the people to avoid open defecation, maintain good and proper hygiene, such as washing of hands regularly, coughing into the elbow, and regular house and environment cleaning. In the meantime, the federal government is fostering partnerships and collaborations with state governments for the implementation of the National Water Supply and Sanitation Policy. Joshua Ojito reports that Gombe State is currently in the lead with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding for the rehabilitation and upgrade of the Gombe Regional Water Supply Scheme.
Gombe Regional Water Scheme, built 16 years ago, has the capacity of supplying 35 million liters of water daily to Gombe and 15 other villages. With the growth in the population, the water scheme became inadequate, and the need to expand and upgrade the facility becomes imperative to the government of Gombe State. Now, the state government is leveraging on federal government counterpart fund for urban water supply improvement with 30% funding from federal government to provide adequate water supply to the people of Gombe State.
We seize the opportunity to get the support of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to see how we can jointly, improve and add more network and supply potable and hygienically treated water to the people.
In addition to that, we recently got a World Bank approval of $700 million under the Soil Wash Program, Sustainable Urban Rural Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene Program, which is also going to involve quite a number of states. There are 7 Tier 1 states that are going to get a financing of $50 to $60 million for their urban water supply schemes.
With the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Gombe State Government, the people of the state are hopeful that it will translate to improved water supply for the city center and environs. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Now, talking security, the National Assembly has approved extra budgetary funding for modernized equipment to enhance the firepower of the armed forces of Nigeria. This was contained in a message by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan to participants of the National Defense College Course 29 in Abuja.
Modernized equipment to enhance firepower, counter-improve explosive devices, intelligence, surveillance, traffic acquisition, reconnaissance, and also communication. Some major advances at the National Defense College in the past year. This includes the upgrade of the Center for Strategic Research and Studies. The college also upgraded the equipment at its medical center to cope with growing demands.
The event is part of activities marking the graduation of the participants. Meanwhile, a new report indicates that 156 criminals have been eliminated by Nigerian troops in different operations in the country within the last 2 weeks. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was disclosed at the periodic briefing by the Defense Media Operations in Abuja.
The operations led to the neutralization of 27 Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters, arrest of 51 Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African Province terrorists.
It is another Thursday. The coordinator of Defense Media Operations is here with compilation of achievements of the gallant officers and soldiers on the field between 29 July and 12 August 2021. The intensity of joint armed forces operations in different locations compelled some terrorists to surrender.
No fewer than 1,000 terrorists and their families, comprising adult females, children, surrendered to own troops at different locations in the northeast. Notable among them are the notorious Boko Haram terrorist bomb expert named Musa Adamu, aka Mala Musa Abuja, and his deputy.
Several airstrikes by the air component of Operation Hadarindaji and its ground troops successfully smoked bandits from their hideouts in parts of Zamfara and Katsina states.
The airstrikes resulted in destruction of bandit structures, neutralized no fewer than 123 bandits, and also the destruction of their logistic facilities, and particularly one of their leaders, Halilu Tubali.
At the waterfronts, troops of Operation Delta Safe conducted several anti-illegal oil operations in the south-south, leading to the activation of illegal refining sites and recovery of arms. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And still on security, we hear that 11 hostages, including 5 children, have escaped from bandits' camps at the outskirts of Kaduna. This follows intense security operations that dislodged many of the bandits from their camps, leaving them in disarray. A statement by the Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Kaduna State, Samuel Arwan, says the 11 escapees consist of those kidnapped from Dumbi, Ruga, Zaria, and some others abducted along the Kaduna-Zaria highway. Similarly, troops of Operation Safe Haven have rescued 2 kidnapped victims around Kurt Village, Dema local government area. Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai expressed satisfaction with the development, commending the troops for the degrading effects of the onslaught on bandits' hideouts. Time for our first break. Please stay.
Hey guys, making music for you is so easy for me to do. But you know what else is super easy to do? Linking your NIN to your Glow line by dialing *109*NIN#. Or I can call 109 from my Glow line and follow the instructions. And if I don't want to call, I can text my NIN to 109. I can even visit glowworld.com/NIN. And what if you've forgotten your NIN? All you have to do is dial *346# and Glow will help you remember it. Someone may ask, what if I haven't registered? All you have to do is go into the nearest Glow World and we'll help you register. It's that easy. So don't get disconnected from all of the amazing voice and data offers from Glow. Linking your NIN to your Glow lines is simple, safe, and 100% free with zero hassles.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, FNCS, FBCS, FIIM, cordially invites the general public to the 11th virtual commissioning of 7 digital economy projects for a digital Nigeria. These commissionings will hold in the following locations: Tertiary Institution Knowledge Center, Gombe State College of Education, Biliri, Gombe State; School Knowledge Center, Sanda Kwarimi Day Secondary School, Maiduguri, Borno State; Emergency Communications Center, ECC, Lokoja, Kogi State; Digital Economy Center and E-Learning Facility, Imam Malik Academy, Sokoto State; Digital Economy Center and E-Learning Facility, University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State; Digital Economy Center and E-Learning Facility, NATO Secondary School, Umunechi, Abia State; and Digital Economy Center, Eleyele Secondary School, Ibadan, Oyo State. The program is scheduled to hold as follows: date Friday 13th August 2021, time 10 a.m. and venue the Digital Economy Complex, Mbora, and Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Announcer Beatrice Bako Nabasu, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. Its great value, it protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
Kids, we need you. Get going.
For the energy you need to get up and go every day, enjoy Cowbell Choco.
This na the story of Pekin, we rise to the max. Rain or shine, it not settle for less. Na the story of small boy we get big talent.
Home and away.
Wait do, it be like say na the story of one man we fall, but we bounce back in style.
Osime, wetin dey motivate you? I want day big, special and great.
Watching us live from Big Brother House Studio.
Joy for Osimhen and his teammates and chuck the hit as well.
Make we enjoy Max Entertainment together.
Sports or movies, telenovela or cartoon, music or reality TV. With just 6,900 naira, you fit get your Go TV decoder plus 1 month Max subscription. Make you enjoy over 75 channels with for Go TV Max. Make you and your special ones enjoy better things on Max levels. Go TV, love it.
COVID-19, that is the black swan of the century.
has actually hit the whole world very hard, even the strongest of economies, and Nigeria was not spared. But due to the proactive stance and steps that the president has taken, we've been able to come out quickly. The president has consistently said we must invest in infrastructure, even as we're investing in human capital, that we must invest in infrastructure, because at the end of the day, that is what will bring about a sustainable economic growth. So the president has given us our directive. He has said you must make sure you pay salaries and pay pensions, but you also make sure that the critical projects of roads, railway, airports, bridges, major infrastructure that are meant to drive the growth of the economy, that we consistently invest in them, even if we have to continue to borrow to do so.
This message is from the Federal Minister of Information and Culture.
The Blues will look to start the new season with a victory against former rival Patrick Vieira as he leads his London side, Crystal Palace, to Stamford Bridge. This Saturday, it's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Thank you for staying. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it has apprehended a local illegal gun manufacturer and 3 bandits with AK-47 rifles in its routine stop and search operations in different parts of the country in the past week. Chairman of the agency, MOHAMMED told newsmen that the NDLEA is handing over the suspects to the appropriate authorities for further investigation. Fisayo Ogunfuyi reports.
Nigeria's fight against illicit drug trafficking seems to be enjoying increased momentum, and with it more inroads into the labyrinth of crime and criminality. While the lenses have been trained on drug busts in different parts of the country in the past week, the Dragnet has uncovered a disturbing competence that may not be far from the center of the nation's unending battle to put insecurity under control.
And a fabricated high-caliber G3 rifle was discovered with 78 rounds of live ammunition of 7.62 caliber and 5 empty shells. Definitely, this may not be the only manufactured weapon. We just chanced on this one.
The suspect confidently explains his dexterity in manufacturing high-caliber machine guns, giving some pointers to perhaps what might be an unconsidered value chain in the shadows of outlawry and insecurity.
I manufactured it in London, not.
Since when have you been manufacturing?
It's not that. I have the talent right from my childhood.
3 bandits armed with AK-47 rifles on their way from Igabi local government of Kaduna State to Kankara local government in Katsina State for another devilish mission were intercepted.
Locally made small arms and light weapons and their distribution across the country remain a sore point of the nation's quest to solve its security challenges. In Abuja, Fisayo Ogunfuyi, NTA News.
In other news, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, has launched a project tagged Providing Immediate Socio-Economic Relief to Vulnerable Migrants, Returnees impacted by COVID-19 in northern Nigeria. Ruth Aguela reports that the ministry is partnering with the International Organization for Migration and the Embassy of Switzerland to Nigeria for the implementation of the project.
The
slogan, "No Place Like Home," clearly depicts the reality for Ali Ahmed. After spending 8 years outside Nigeria, for him, whatever it takes, survival at home is best.
I officially launched the project providing immediate socio-economic relief to vulnerable migrants impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic in northern states.
With the launch of the project by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, it is a new dawn for migrants in the Northeast. The project seeks to address the socio-economic needs of vulnerable migrants by providing immediate relief.
The project is designed to complement actions funded under the UN COVID-19 Basket Fund by focusing on returned and potential migrants with beneficiaries drawn from Yobe, Kano, Katsina, Zamfara, and Jigawa states.
The project has been designed to align with the federal government of Nigeria's priorities and will ensure the needs of women, men are considered throughout the project.
This particular project is another proof of the well-functioning migration partnership and the importance Switzerland attaches to Nigeria.
The project is expected to run for 9 months. The International Organization for Migration is to facilitate its implementation and to be funded by the Swiss government to ensure the sustainability of the program and make life better for migrants. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps says the agency remains a body responsible for ensuring the protection of lives and property on the road and not a revenue generation agency, has been circulated. The Corps Public Education Officer, Assistant Corps Marshal Basi Kazim, said this clarification becomes necessary in view of the fake news making the rounds on the increase in the prices of number plates and driver's license. The purported reports appears to make out that FRSC had increased the prices of number plates and driver's licenses, somewhat depicting the agency as a revenue-generating agency. Corps Public Education Officer Basi Kazim describes the news as untrue and urges members of the public to note that only the Joint Tax Board, JTB, has the statutory powers to review the prices of the items in question. He appeals to the mail-trained public to continue to ensure that their vehicles are properly registered as it enhances the security of the vehicles. The statement also revealed that the last review on the prices of number plates and driver's license was done in 2011. Meanwhile, vehicle owners in Nigeria will soon heave a sigh of relief from frequent car theft as the federal government has commenced the implementation of the National Vehicle Registry to address vehicle-related crimes, customs duty evasion and revenue leakages. Neka Oko reports that the pilot phase of the project has kicked off at the Nigeria Customs Service, Kirikiri Light Terminal.
Data from the National Bureau of Statistics indicate that between 2015 and 2020, Nigeria annually imports about 400,000 vehicles with an average of 48% increase in imports annually, while an additional 45% are smuggled into the country evading duty payment. 40% of these vehicles are stolen. That is about to change. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, at the sensitization seminar says the single database for vehicle identification numbers will help curb security threats arising from vehicle theft as well as maximize revenue for the country.
It is also important to note that the National Vehicle Registration System will, among others, serve a single source of validation at the point of vehicle registration while capturing and storing all vehicular information over the life cycle of every vehicle for the purpose of effective motor vehicle registration and administration, ensuring the enforceability of penalties placed on vehicles by regulators across board, and ensuring accurate monitoring, documentation and tracking of vehicle activities across the nation to enhance national security.
This seminar is expected to keep stakeholders in vehicle registration and revenue-generating agencies abreast of the workings of the new platform. In Abuja, Neka Oku, NTA News.
Elsewhere, stakeholders have begun engagements preparatory to the public hearing of the Civic-Com bill by the National Assembly. The bill, if passed, will give open governance and service delivery a legal backing in all government bodies. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
Highlights and main provisions of the bill. That administrative and substantive provision that I spoke about was actually speaking to the principal purposes of the bill, which is to establish a legal and legislative foundation to ensure lasting legitimacy for an agency that SAVICOM will become nationwide.
The engagement couldn't have begun without taking the audience through the draft document setting the pace for fruitful deliberations. National Coordinator SAVICOM Nena Kajameli urged them to make their inputs, noting that it is a positive journey to make government businesses much more open to improve transparency, aiming to hold service providers more accountable in order to have effectively improved service delivery at service windows.
We're working to institutionalize through this bill the practice of improved service delivery in Nigeria.
The agencies of federal government made their inputs virtually. In Abuja, Ike Chukundukwe, NTA News.
August 12 every year is set aside as International Youth Day for governments and citizens across the world to bring attention to the problems faced by youths globally. This is based on the recommendation of the United Nations General Assembly in 1999 at the World Conference of Ministers responsible for youth in Lisbon. Olayinka Ojo in this report takes a look at the significance of this year's theme, Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health.
In many third world countries, youth till date struggle for basic amenities such as health, education, and employment, as well as peer group pressure.
But young people cannot do it on their own. They need allies to make sure they are engaged, included, and understood. Guided by the United Nations System-Wide Youth Strategy, Youth 2030, the UN is strengthening its work for and with young people worldwide.
So, a day like this provides a platform to discuss such pertinent issues and come up with plans and ideas that can help in making situations like this in the coming days better.
We should stop having entitlement mentality. We should do what is available on ground.
Take part in empowerment activities and ICT so as to defend on their own.
With the world's population expected to increase by 2 billion people in the next 30 years, the time to highlight the crucial need for inclusive support mechanism that ensures youth continue to amplify efforts collectively and individually is now.
Poverty reduction, social inclusion, healthcare, biodiversity conservation, climate change mitigation. These issues must also be addressed if we are to meaningfully transform food systems.
The Ministry, working with the National Assembly, is committed to providing for this country its first robust youth data bank.
Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Let's find out the latest from the Center of Excellence, where Michael is standing by. Michael, it's over to you.
Thank you, Iyere. Nigeria and Spain have recommitted themselves to a higher level of synergy targeted at reinforcing maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. This was during the visit of a Spanish naval ship, MV Vigia, to Western Naval Command in Lagos. Adeni Taiwo completes the reports.
The Gulf of Guinea is the commonwealth of so many nations. It's deep water to facilitate movement of crude oil and other cargoes, while its aquatic resources feed and nourish economies. In return, naval ships from benefiting countries conduct patrol to ward off sea pirates and promote safe maritime activities along the corridor. MV Vigia is the second Spanish naval ship to visit Nigeria in the last 4 months. Apart from being a strong indication of Spain's recognition of Nigeria as a strong force and the security of the Gulf of Guinea, their visit is also a pointer to the growing trade relations between the two countries. Spanish ambassador to Nigeria, Marcelino Ansolina, said as much as he commends Nigeria's efforts in ensuring maritime security along the international waters, noting that the way forward is more synergy through intelligence sharing and capacity building.
Nigerians beginning a very important exercise, which is the Blue
in order to reinforce the security in the Gulf of Guinea, and Spain would like to participate in these efforts.
With about 80% of Nigeria's international trade going through the Gulf of Guinea, promoting safe maritime activities along the corridor remains a priority.
And so every effort we need to take to secure and ensure safe navigation through the Gulf of Guinea is acceptable, is welcome.
After a series of joint exercises, the visiting ship has since departed Nigeria to resume patrol of the Commonwealth. In Lagos, Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
To achieve the targets of economic sustainability and lifting about 100 million Nigerians from poverty, revamping dilapidated public infrastructure for job creation is priority. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Babangida Hussaini, explains that this informs efforts to resuscitate the central workshop and training facilities at Ijora, Lagos. Samuel Johnson reports that the road linking the international airport from Oshodi will be closed to speed up repairs.
With the efforts of the federal government already yielding fruit in terms of youth empowerment, taking it further necessitated the decision of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to consider revamping the central workshop, equipping it and converting it to modern skills acquisition center with the possibility of public or private sector collaboration. An evaluation of facilities at the center gives hope.
We want to see what is on ground. We want to study the condition of the equipment. We want to study the condition of the building and then look at the opportunities that we are presenting and make recommendations to government so that this place can be put to better use.
The ministry, he explains, is committed to making public infrastructure work in the interest of Nigerians to enhance the standard of living. The permanent secretary also visited a team of trainees drawn from across public and private organizations undergoing skills upgrade at the center. Meanwhile, the ongoing Oshodi Toyota bridge repairs will require closure of the road for 3 days beginning from Friday this week. Federal Controller of Works in Lagos disclosed this. He appealed to members of the public to cooperate with the contractor handling the project. In Lagos, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports shortly after this break. Please stay.
He's not my real father. But you already know this, Lera darling. Yes. But after 25 years, she just told me who my real father is.
Now, where is it in the car?
Introducing Glow U2 plans. Feast your eyes from as low as 50 naira for 1 hour. Simply dial *777#.
Big day ahead.
Full of nourishment and vitality. Antibodies and shot bacteria. Ovaltine 3-in-1. 3-in-1. Ovaltine 3-in-1.
For your young one.
New Ovaltine 3-in-1. Smart choice for smart kids.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
We are StarTimes, the most affordable digital pay TV platform with the widest signal coverage in Nigeria, dedicated to bringing the best TV entertainment around the world to your screen. From Hollywood to Bollywood to Nollywood, we offer the most affordable subscription. Enjoy over 75 channels for as low as 1,700 naira, like Nat Geo Wild, BBC, ESPN, and premium sport like Emirates FA Cup, La Liga, Bundesliga, wrestling. What's more exciting? We have the most flexible payment options in Nigeria. Don't dull. Join us now for an exciting journey. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
The Blues will look to start the new season with a victory against former rival Patrick Vieira as he leads his London side, Crystal Palace, to Stamford Bridge. This Saturday, it's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Glad to have you back. And just a quick correction to the earlier reports on the cholera outbreak in Nigeria. The figure of infections in the country is put at 31,425 in 22 states, while the number of deaths is 816 as at today. Number of infections, 31,425, while the number of deaths is put at 816. Next is business, and Benny Adams is here.
Thank you, Iyere, and welcome to Business. We start by telling you that the last national survey of MSMEs in the country indicates that micro, small and medium enterprises contributed 49.78% to GDP and 7.6% to total export. Another is underway as the federal government, through the National Bureau of Statistics, is set to carry out an update of the MSME survey in collaboration with Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, that is SMEDEN. SMEDEN and the NBS at a press briefing heralding the fourth national survey stressed that in order to boost the MSME sector, accurate data is needed for preferences. The survey will capture current data on MSMEs in Nigeria in line with the revised national policy on MSMEs, contribution of MSMEs to national GDP, gender composition of MSMEs, and possible impact of COVID-19 on businesses, among others.
We hereby solicit for the cooperation of all the actors in the MSME space, as our enumerators will soon come to administer the questionnaires to the various stakeholders.
This will allow government to look inward into those sectors within the MSMEs that are making impact into our GDP in such a manner to strengthen them, and also to look at those that are not making much contribution to the GDP and bring them up to speed.
And talking commodities, OPEC on Thursday stuck to its prediction of a strong recovery in world oil demand in 2021 and further growth next year, despite concerns about the spread of the Delta coronavirus variant that has weighed on prices. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries in the monthly report also raised its forecast of supply from rivals, including U.S. shale producers, and a potential headwind for the efforts of the group and allies to balance the market. The report says oil demand will rise by 5.95 million barrels per day this year, while fuel use will expand by 3.28 million barrels per day in 2022. This is coming on the heels of demands by the U.S. for OPEC and its allies to boost oil output to tackle rising petrol prices, which they see as a threat to global economic recovery. And on the capital market, investors gained 21.67 billion naira as all-share index appreciated by 0.11% to close at 39,490.06 basis points, while equity capitalization is 20.5 trillion naira. 570.2 million shares valued at 2.2 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,764 deals. Market breadth closed positive as Honey Flour led 8 gainers as against 21 losers, topped by Triple G at the end of today's session. Honey Flour, Vitafoam and FCMB were the most active to boost market turnover. That is business news. Yeri, it's nice doing business with you.
Thank you, Benny. I just hope it's the cash. All right. Kwara State government has assured young people in the state of enabling platforms to thrive in their chosen professions for peace and economic development. Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak gave the assurance at a Peace and Youth Development Summit held at Kwara State University. Kende Omolusho reports.
Represented by his deputy, Kayode Alabi, Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak identified the youths as the future of any nation. And the brighter the future of these young people, the better the future of Nigeria in terms of socio-economic and political development. It is against this backdrop that the state government has been supporting the youths with interest-free loans to run their various businesses and become successful. Government's investment in agriculture, innovations, sports, and creative industry, the governor says, are to productively engage the young generation that will promote peace and engender development.
We're steadily creating a veritable market for young people to hone their skills, sell their ideas, and lead a fulfilling life. Our huge investment in Innovation Hub are targeted at giving new skills to young people. Remember I talked about skills. Our target is to make Kwara the go-to place for young techies, innovators, and solution providers.
As seated today as students, you are leaders. Issue of being leaders of tomorrow, you are already leaders of today.
The Peace and Youth Development Summit, organized in commemoration of the International Youth Day, also featured presentation of prizes to winners of a literary contest tagged The Right Up. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari joins family members, friends and business associates in celebrating with consummate businessman and philanthropist Alhaji Mohammed Ndimi on his 74th birthday. In a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the president praised that the Almighty God will grant the celebrant longer life, good health and strength to continue in good works. President Buhari congratulates the founder and chairman of Oriental Energy Resources for his wisdom in stimulating economic activities within and outside the country, attracting foreign direct investments in key sectors and expanding the coast for entrepreneurship and employment. President Buhari acknowledged the contributions of the Muhammadu Ndimi Foundation to development in the Northeast and the foundation's intervention in alleviating the plights of internally displaced persons in the region. The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, says it is deploying necessary tools and technology to keep its staff abreast of development in finance and bookkeeping for better service delivery. The Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, stated this at the Heads of Finance and Chief Accountants Conference in Abuja. Musa Abubakar brings us details.
Training and retraining is an annual practice by the NTA to improve service delivery. This year is no exception, as participants from Finance Directorate across the country gathered to share experience and explore alternative ways to improve accounting operations in a bid to support excellent television service worldwide.
All other directorates are support directorates, beginning from engineering, to finance, to admin and credit, to special business. They are all support directorates. The business of NTA, the business of broadcasting, the production of news and programs. Okay? On the university side. So we cannot be using that to negotiate subscription, because it's subscription that actually qualifies you as a member.
Sensitize officers as control officers to be able to do the needful, constantly, so that the objective of having financial controllers in the authority will be felt.
and then they can go back and also inform their subordinate to train them so that the authority can to improve the authority finances.
With the theme Safeguarding the Assets of the Authority, an essential tool for economic growth, the conference is expected to boost staff confidence and give them an edge to compete favorably. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Kogi State Governor YAHAYA BELLO has appointed a 9-man Tourism Intervention Advisory Committee headed by Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Olusegun RUNSEWE, as chairman. The appointment of Otumba Segun RUNSEWE, who is also the President, Africa Region World Craft Council, a week after he led the 36 state commissioners and directors of arts and culture to a technical meeting on National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST, in Ekiti State, reaffirms Governor Bello's determination to change the narrative of culture, tourism and trade in Kogi State. A statement from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of Kogi State, Dr. Folashade Ayoade, indicates that the appointment takes immediate effect. Now time for sports, and Tamara Ebiwe will feed us. Tamara.
Thank you, Yenri. Welcome to Sports Updates. Nigeria's Elizabeth Ayanacho is now ranked 28 in the world according to the latest ranking by World Taekwondo. The 22-year-old, who made her Olympic Games debut at the Tokyo Games, believes she has brighter chances of making the nation proud in future after failing to make the podium in Tokyo.
This stage now has given me a kind of confidence to go for Paris 2024, because now I have felt the kind of tension in that stage.
The second batch of Team Nigeria athletes to Tokyo 2020 Olympics arrived Abuja Thursday, calling for early preparations ahead of the next edition in Paris in 2024.
Yeah, never quit. I believe I'll bounce back by the special grace of God. Paris is around the corner, and I believe by the special grace of God, my dream will come true.
We're going to have grassroots programs, we're going to go on schools and everything, and we're going to push more.
And finally, Nigerians fondly remember former Super Eagles midfielder Samuel Okwaraji, who died 32 years ago, August 12, 1989. Okwaraji was in action for Nigeria in a World Cup qualifier against Angola at the National Stadium Surulere, Lagos, when he collapsed and died of congestive heart failure.
Young footballers who might want to play for this country, that you also need to put the country first. And I think at this point in time, it's something that we need to ponder over all things that we're doing right now. Are we doing it for the interest of the nation, or we're doing it for their own selfish interest?
Football lovers will continue to remember the late Samuel Okwaraji. And that's Sports Update. Nyere, you're on.
Thank you, Tamara. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates Kola Adeshina, the managing director of Sahara Power Group, as it marks his 57th birthday. The president, in a statement, describes the celebrant as a consummate entrepreneur with experience that traverses the academia, finance, energy, trade, and diplomacy. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the family of the late former president of Nigeria, Alhaji Shehu Shagari, over the transition of his widow, Hajia Hadiza Shagari, who died at age 80. President Buhari describes the departed as a pillar of strength and support, holding forth for the family, while her husband busied himself with service to the nation. President Buhari extends condolences to government and people of Sokoto State, urging the family to be consoled by the good deeds of late Hajia Hadiza. The president prays Allah to forgive the sins of the departed and reward her with paradise. 12 years after the demise of foremost legal luminary and human rights activist Gani FAWEHINMI, his first son, Mohammed, has also passed on. He died at the age of 52 after reportedly complaining of breathing difficulties. Michael Alaleye reports.
Born in 1969 to the Gani FAWEHINMI's family, the University of Buckingham's law graduate Mohammed was called to the Nigerian bar in 1998 and has since followed the path of the family in the legal profession. In 2003, there was a dramatic twist to Mohammed's quest of sustaining this legacy when he had a terrible accident which affected his spinal cord and confined him to the wheelchair. Regardless of his predicament, Mohammed was still able to practice law, but not in the same fashion his late father was renowned for. Meanwhile, prominent Nigerians have started sending in condolence messages, including the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who described the late Mohammed as an activist who dedicated his life to the service of humanity. Until his death, Mohammed FAWEHINMI was the director, Nigerian Law Publications Limited. In Lagos, Michael Alaleye, NT News.
President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with the entire family of the late irrepressible lawyer Gani FAWEHINMI over the death of their son, Mohammed. In a statement signed by his special advisor, Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the president urges the bereaved family to find comfort in God, who gives and takes, and draw consolation in the fact that the departed reportedly fought a debilitating condition which confined him to the wheelchair for many years. President Buhari says his body may have been broken, but his spirit was virile, agile, and he kept the flag of the family flying, doing justice to the memory of his late father. He prays for the repose of the soul of the departed, urging strength for all those who mourn Mohammed FAWEHINMI. Now time for a quick check at the weather outlook for Friday.
Welcome to the weather forecast for Friday. We expect thunderstorms over the northwestern region with high intensity. Residents over this region should take precaution as there is possibility of flash flooding. And over the northeastern region, we also have prospect of thunderstorms with moderate to high intensity. Morning rains are expected over Plateau, Nasarawa, the Federal Capital Territory, and Niger, including a few places over the inland and the coastal region. As we go into the evening hours, we expect to have thunderstorms over Borno, Bauchi, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, and Kebbi, extending to the central parts of the country, with prospect of rains over the southern half of the country. Thank you for watching.
And that concludes Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. And please remember to continue to stand against rape and rapists. I'm Ray John. Good night.